I forgot my. Let me check it out. Let me check out my title. Yeah, I forgot to change my title. Minor mistake. Hitting all the right buttons here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just gonna open Evernote so I have my notes for this.
Cool.
Just going to. I didn't have time to catch up on Joe Block's videos that is sent out for Patreon. I'm too behind, so I need.
Oh.
Yep.
Huh.
I need to watch them. Yep.
Cool. Random Hero, Alcimane, that's 20 games. Good to see you all. Sound test, can you hear me?
I hope they can.
Uh-oh. Alright, good.
Yep.
Awesome! So do I like soup too. Infinite Dimensions game giveaway tomorrow night. Some really cool things. That's during tomorrow night. Got something really cool tonight. Really, really cool. Let's see here. It's this, and that. Just testing everything. We're good. Okay. Fuzz.
Hello.
Justin. Good to see y'all. And all. Jan and me tonight for this one.
Yep.
Sunday night. It's gonna be a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of people
and next
rolling
Sunday
in and out.
night too.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's like a party almost. People rolling in and out, you know.
Exactly. It will be, yeah.
But the one the Sunday after, that's a little more
Maybe
regimented.
slightly more structured. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun. The one before, a con like this is usually.
Yeah, because you're gonna get
awesome.
people hopping in for about a half hour here and there. You know, we got Grail Reborn. Steven Chanel confirmed today.
Wonderful.
Almost every streamer is going to be on. It's a highlighted streamer is going to be on at least for part of it. So that's a good thing. Hey, baby. Oh yeah, I'm feeling better. Just I get worn out quickly. Yesterday was the first day I actually walked and worked out. So, I'm trying. Coughing a lot now. I got that stupid dry cough now. So, which is really annoying. You'll see that tomorrow. The keep, but it's the Ruins of Strain Keep Castle. Yeah. Coming up. Oh yeah, I had it. Even though I was double vaxxed and double updated. Oh yeah. I got it. Really bad. Yep. So that was 2.5 weeks ago, actually. I'm working and all. It's just feel the residual effects. Take what it's on. I see Gary Julian on, lurking. Cool. Yeah. Rolling in. Probably have Mike Disney and Blue Box reading in, so that'll be good. There's Ever Mysterious. What's up, Tim? Tim's character Finder will make a cameo tomorrow. Probably without Tim, but he'll make a character. I may have him set off another trap like he normally does. We'll see. So, what am I hitting next? This one.
Trollord Games, join the fray.
Oh, cool.
Well, I thought I was going to avoid it my entire life, and no one in my family, hey Patrick, no one in my family got it until 2 weeks ago. I mean, for the entire time of the pandemic, with all the boosters, me going to cons, going to GaryCon, PAX Unplugged last year, and then we don't know where we got it. It was over. We got it probably coming off of Labor Day weekend, where we were out and about a lot. So it happens. Let's see here. That. Let's see if there's some lives here. Hey, Wiley. You're doing well. Here comes Mike Disney in. What's up, Mike? Hey, Fuzz. Kickstand 1, good to see you. New viewer from the Mike Disney rating. Thank you very much. Mike's the best. Mike's part of virtual.con as well. Oh, and Blue Box is coming in. All right. I'll go live early like I do all the time when everyone raids in. So that way you guys don't miss any of the fun. You will get to everything tonight. Does that mean all the stuff that I asked you to do, Josh, that you haven't done yet, you're going to do? Wow, thank you. Thanks for the resub, Dale. Horn Society tonight. Let's talk. Let me shout out both of our streamers in as we go, and then I'll hit them back up here in a second. Thank you. Just Aaron and me tonight. Maybe a special guest if he can get on to promote. Yeah, and I'll explain that in a second. Please hang in there. I got something really cool to show everyone. Really cool. see. Here we come. Come on, we're gonna come live. So good evening, everyone. I'm J.K. Lord Gazumba, and with me is the legendary Anna B. Meyer. Here, I'll hit up your raids in so we know that they came in.
Yep.
So I cannot wait either for Virtual GrowCon coming up next weekend, BG. I agree 100%. And there's
only
still
a week.
there's still open seats. There still are open seats. We're going to talk to Horn Society tonight, which is a really cool place that Anna's done a lot with. And sorry, of course, I'm still losing my voice, you know, after the Rona, after all these weeks. By the way, both Blue Box and Mike Disney are part of the Greyhawk creative stream team. I just linked that in there. All great streamers are in that group that we created. So please check it out. Always a good place to see what's going on in the industry with us in Greyhawk content. So let me do this. We're going to go to this. This is going to be the giveaway tonight, and it's out. If you did not get part of the Kickstarter, your chance tonight, and I'll start the drawing up. You got to be on William Henry Dvorak's Raven's Rook, which is Rook Roost, everyone, from the Bandit Kingdoms, the city. The Black Wing City of Brigands and Bandits is out in PDF. Hey, David, the hard copy is not out yet, okay? Will was kind enough to come on and talk to me and say, hey, Jay, you want to give a couple of these out tonight? And I'm like, sure. So this will be the giveaway for tonight. Wait, let me start it up. Let me start this giveaway up for this drawing for this. We're going to do at least one tonight. We'll probably do more of Raven's Rook. It is complete. So there you go.
Yep.
And it is.
I got mine too. I haven't read much. I just sifted through it. Was like a week ago or something. It landed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's really a nice. I've been skimming through it, and it gives me hope that I'll get Altamira done one day. Notice here are all the people that supported it. There's my name right there. Yay! There's a lot of people in here you'll know, and both of these, which is really cool. It's got a table of contents here, and it is 117 pages for Rook Roost, Raven's Rook, as I should say. I don't want WotC coming and smashing us. So that is going to be the giveaway tonight, and we'll do. Like I said, I got autonomy to do a couple extras, but we're doing at least one tonight. Just note you gotta be on the claim to get it. You can always lurk if you're got other things to do, and we'll come back to that shortly. When we talk about things going on here. So the Horn Society, yes, a really good topic. We've never hit the Horn Society.
No, we talked about it for like forever and haven't got to it. So
absolutely, you're dead on,
do
Anna.
It the week before Greyhawk Con. That's
and this is an area. All right, so I use the Horn Society a lot less than Anna does. So Anna's like the big. Thank you, Mr. Joel. Anna's like the big specialist on this one tonight. Now I have some use of it in my Shieldlands campaign, my Shieldlands area that we play in.
You've been in Shieldlands quite a bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I don't go in with the hierarchs, and we're going to start at the beginning, and then we're going to talk about. We'll talk about like its evolution and what a lot of people don't like what Sergeant did with it. And some things you can do to change it up or move on with it at that point. So sit tight, have a nice discussion here, and let's go to this map here. Now remember, this is my map, but when you come to the World of Greyhawk map and you have Greyhawk, if you don't know where it is, you have Greyhawk City here, across the near Deve, you have the Shieldlands. To the northwest of the Shieldlands is the Horn Society itself. Now, the Horn Society borders the lands of Ayus, also the Felry Forest, and the Bandit Kingdoms.
Yep.
Okay. By the way, Rook Roost is right here. So Raven's Rook is this. That PDF is this city right here. Okay. Just so you're aware. Doing good, Mike. Doing real good tonight. Here's your Horn Society. Some minor changes on my map, but it is a lot of empty space in the Horn Society.
I'm going to show another. Yeah, I'm going to share another map link later.
Nice.
That has way more stuff in Horn Society.
Your own Horn
So-
Society, right?
Yes,
All right, very
exactly. So
cool.
we're going to but we take that a lot later. First, we have to talk about in published setting and
Yeah.
what we know from published sources and stuff before we go into tweaking it and how we can use it in our own campaigns. And so let's wait with that discussion until
Absolutely
later.
a good point
Yep.
there. There you go. Thank you both for the raid in to get this really cool discussion started. All right, so let me go start at the beginning here. If I can bring it up, I should be able to. That's wrong. Okay. 1980.
Mm-hmm.
World of Greyhawk glossography.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says.
What does it say about Horn Society?
Oh,
A few
Patrick, thanks a lot.
paragraphs. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's 1 or 2 paragraphs in this.
I should go and grab the old one. I haven't grabbed my stuff that way. I've read it on
Let me pull
PDF.
this
So
up
here
here.
we go. And
Almost got a hype train going there.
Yep.
Very cool. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask during this. I don't know how many of you have ever done adventuring or used the Horn Society. It's a cool area. Very cool. Good to hear it, Phantom. You got them. All right. The Horn Society, the dread and awful presence of the hierarchs. Well, the original glossography has no levels. It does have levels on them, but it has no names, and it has, it's just 83. They add the names of
no,
some of the
they
leaders.
didn't add anything.
Yeah,
And that's one of the cool things. Horn Society is an enigma even to this day.
absolutely. Hey, Tino. So we go over up here, and it's like a population unknown, demi-humans very doubtful, humanoids, hobgoblins 12,000. Many more hobgoblins than orcs. In fact, they don't get along at all.
Yeah.
Which is really an issue with the IU's invasion of it. It really is.
And those population numbers are ridiculously low for an area like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's ridiculously underpopulated, but a lot of other areas are that too. So because we're talking about a place that is really big. Yeah.
And here is all you get is 1 paragraph from the start. Originally a stronghold of the more organized of the humanoid tribes, the area came under rule of a group of evil humans some decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
It is speculated these wicked people were disaffected bandits, or at least aided by 1 or more of the bandit kinglets. In any case, the land between the Veng and Retenza rivers, as far north as the territory of the Rovers and the Barons, is now firmly in the grasp of the Horn Society. The association combines the masses of humanoid troops with the organization of powers of humans. Deviltry is the religion of the society. Do we know which specific? I also thought Narol was big here too, and that's later on.
We need that's a whole chapter by itself. So we should dig deep into that question a little bit later. But and that's one of the things. Meaning, let's start with this. The Horn Society is one of the best villains of the Greyhawk setting. They are adaptable, they are flexible, they are kind of an enigma, they are both classical, mysterious, all in one go, so to speak. And they are ruthlessly evil, and they are fantasy-esque, so to speak, meaning that classic fantasy full of orcs and hobgoblins and God knows what. So it's kind of they tick almost every villain box you have in a classic fantasy setting. Horn Society get it. You can tweak Horn Society one way or the other. And I have a couple of examples from the what you can grab, so to speak, that are from various published settings, and I'll kind of paraphrase them. So you have bandits who saw a chance for a land grab, horn cultist of the ancient flan, or warlord serving the Nine, servants of Anthraxus, Infestix, or even Nerul himself. And meaning, come on, that's kind of a good little kind of sweet spot when it comes to villainy, so to speak, in a fantasy campaign. But it's then you have to dig in, and there's a lot of DM you have to choose, or you can let them be everything, but maybe that's not giving them their full potential, so to speak.
So it says here, leaders reported a mage above 12th, big deal. 18th level evil high priest, prowl for clerics, 13th level thief, trio of 11th level fighters. It's known
Yeah.
many troops of bandits from east frequent the walled town of Molag and the Horn Societies on favorable terms of Ayus, it says here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's where it ends. And that is
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
That is it.
And that's the same thing. I think word for word, exactly the same thing, just copied into the 83 box set. So no news there, so to speak. They just kept the folio stuff and put it in the 83 box set, basically unchanged.
We have news.
Oh yeah, later on there's news.
And earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon 56.
Yep.
So let's go to Dragon 56 and let's go. And we saw this. We got a prelude this on with Sunday Night Show, and we were talking about using Dragon magazines in your campaign. Page 18 from the Sorcerer's Scroll. More Greyhawk goodies. You're not going to know that there's Horn Society stuff here unless you really know about this article because of that title. So let's go over here, page 18. Some really good stuff here. This is the first of the events of the Flannis articles, but just turned and called something else. For some reason, Gary mixes the pentagram discussion with this. So you get a mix here. You get that, and then you have discussion on Ayus, the wolf nomads, come down further. And a lot of it is troops, right? This is all a war game
it's
still
war
back
gaming.
then. It's
yeah,
war gaming
exactly.
back here in the 80s. Hey, Vaughn, well, good to see you. And thank you all for the hype train. You have the Bandit Kingdoms of all their troops, Duchy of Tens in here, Rovers of the Barons in here, of all these, different levels of tribes. And I missed the Horn Society, didn't I? I went right over it. Here it is, Horn Society. So you have like 10 paragraphs, which is 10 times what you had in the glossography.
Mm-hmm.
And pressure by the nobles holding the Shieldlands prevented all that move with the hierarchs, which along wished to make the Thames River to the northern shore of the near Deve. So basically, what this is talking about is an invasion of the Shieldlands by the hierarchs.
Mm-hmm.
Is right here.
Yep.
And it also goes in a lot more detail of individuals. Also talks about them fighting in at Dingaverge. Also the Felreave elves. It goes into detail here. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit more. Okay. Excuse me. That's too big. Okay. So you have this. This is like 81. So this is still pre-1983 box set. Talking about the fighting going on. Here's a hierarch named Balon Tug, half orc, triple class. Breaks all the rules that is in the player's handbook and the Arcana book.
But that's kind of typical. The rules are for player characters, not for monsters.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes.
Yeah, because you had all sorts of interesting monsters. Necromancers, long before there were necromancers for player characters, etc., etc. So that's part of the game history.
Yeah, and a cleric, fighter, assassin. What a mix. Oh, Fuzz, thanks, man. Thank you very much. So, and it talks about he was wise enough not to march his foot soldier force in the vastness of the rolling plains, but instead used the western edge of the Felreave. It's all tactical. Still tactical at this point.
And we also have to realize that their exploration was way north of what we normally conceive of being the Horn Society. We're talking north of the Vestvi of the Felreave. So way up in the boondocks up there. Way out in nowhere. So they were really moving about while during the time when Ayus were locked up in Greyhawk Castle.
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely. That's
they
a
took
good
their
point.
chances.
That's
Yeah.
a real good point. So this will turn into something else. This article itself will turn into something else in 1989, which as we discussed on Sunday night, that Gary had said the Free City Grok box set's going to come out in 81 or 82. He was off by 7 to 8 years, right? So my face is covered by the thing. But the Free City Greyhawk box set, which is done by Carl Sargent and Doug Niles. I'm sorry,
Yeah, the
by
beginning
Doug
of the Sargent era.
and Rick
Yep.
Rose are right here, and and we'll talk about that coming up too in the timeline. Um, so, your thoughts about this article, Anna, or anything you want to say?
Well,
Good,
let's
bad.
continue. Yeah, let's continue first and see what we know, and
Okay.
try and nail them down, not by article, but by timeline in the campaign. So what we know so far, that it seems to be at least fairly hard fact, so to speak, that the Horn Society came to prominence in 513 coming years. So that's when they seem to come from, either being formed or come from obscurity. And we have to remember that Ayu's imprisonment was imprisoned in 505, and so it was after he was captured in
Castle
by
Greyhawk.
Sagging in Castle Greyhawk. That's when they either emerge or come from hiding or are formed. We don't know which, so to speak. And they set up shop in Molag, that is described to be before then Ayu's summer capital, which to me seems a little bit backwards, because if it's down south, shouldn't he be his winter capital, and then he lives in the summer up north? So
Right.
so in my campaign I switched it, but that's a minor detail, so to speak. It seems like Molag was in Ayu's hands up until he got imprisoned, and then the conveniently the Horn Society moved in, so to speak. And then you have the period, then they seem to have set up shop and established themselves up until 550, because that's when between 550 and 570, they started the heavy skirmishing with the shield lance across the Ritensa. And then in 579, they apparently probed enough and started a full-blown invasion of the shield lance prior to the main Greyhawk Wars. And then
right,
yeah.
and that's where the confusion comes in the Free City Greyhawk box set. Yeah.
Yep. And then in 581, they have basically conquered the whole of the Shield Lands except for Adminfort. I think it's not mentioned, so I assume they didn't conquer it, but they didn't conquer Critwall. So Critwall and the area closest to it was not conquered, but the rest of it. And the final big battle when they defeated most of the Shield Land force was set in Export. So that was back in 581, meaning, and this is a few years before the Greyhawk Wars, so to speak. And then in 583, Ayus took over the Horn Society in Coldeven in the Blood Moon Festival. He basically, according to various sources, either massacred the hierarchs or just took over without too much fuss. We don't know. So that is basically the story of Horn Society, as much as it comes to the hard facts of timelines, so to speak.
And there's stuff that just, when you read the From the Ashes box set, there's no mention that the Horn Society is anywhere in the Shield Lands when that overtaking happens.
Exactly. That's the thing, is that that's something that Carl Sargent it came in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer. It's detailed, and we also have to realize in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, the Horn Society is not to be found among the countries. It's among the organization of factions in the back. That's where you find the Horn Society, among the power groups on page 156. That's where you find Horn Society. But there's a fair bit of detail, and a lot of this timeline is taken from that article, because that's some of the latest Greyhawk stuff we had. So we kind of sum it up. Yeah.
So good news, Gary says that he brings the Horn Society back in this book, and it got LGG.
Yeah.
So when we get there in the early 2000, we get there in 2000.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, because everyone misses the bad guys of the Horn Society, because they're so good. And we're going to show a couple things. I'm going to show a couple transnational, which makes sense. I'm going to show some tidbits of some places you can find some cool things that's in published source. The 1901 article has events in CY 578. It has a large invasion of the Rovers and their allies in the Horn Society. It's between band. Yeah, that's what I got up here. That's what I have here.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I had.
So now that's it. Now we can we can end the discussion basically. No, there are some new some more tidbits
Yeah,
and
and
cool
we're going to
facts and
show
stuff.
some of those
Oh
tidbits
yeah,
here in
there's a whole
time
bunch
frame.
of yeah. Please go on in and show more of the
No
articles and
problem.
stuff. Yeah.
So note that once again, this article is almost all wargaming. There's no real RP here at all. Nothing. But you do get that made into a Greyhawk Sauron. Don't. The more I think about it, David, the more I would wish it wasn't. I would see somehow if they had allied with the Horn Society, I think it would have been better. I think I would have liked it more. I went along with it, but then it's easy to undo. You know, even in the course of gameplay, it is. There you go. You got it, Delver. That'll do it for you. But all right, let me show you a couple tidbits. I'm going to keep on going back to this, everyone. Because of that hype train, doubled it. 2 PDFs of this right now. Ravens Rook. If you weren't part of Kickstarter, you're going to get a published city of Greyhawk right here. So by William Henry Dvorak. I invited him to hop on if he's able to. He will, just to say hello. So let me go somewhere and show you a tidbit. We're going to go a couple tidbits of things I know that exist all the way up through, let's say, pre From the Ashes. Okay. Let me go to the first one here. Let's go to, and I like this. This is a good story. We're going to go to a Jim Ward, and this is, I went right. You notice how I have it right here. This is Greyhawk Adventures. All right, and we're on page 49. All right, this is Greyhawk Adventures, and we go to page 49. Okay, and we're going to do a story in the NPC section, and we have Juliana Mortidis Cleric Horn Society. So we got a nice little story here about someone within the Horn Society that's not a hierarch, okay, which is cool. What role does the Horn Society play in the Guard of the World novels, Anna?
They were one of these mysterious villains that called in near rule and were just big and scary at times. They don't seem to have had any major impact on the plot. They were, I think, especially in there are a couple of times they are some of the nasty ones that even call in near rule to be scary and stuff. So that they seem to be more of a ploy and a twist than the major story, so to speak. So when he gets into saving the world and the Theor parts and stuff, they play a minor role, so to speak, in compared to the other ones. That then they be a little bit sidelined, and you have Grast and Ayus and stuff like that, the other factions. So then they're not becoming, but you get to meet some of the nasty ones, and I think you get to talk, if you read the later books, you get to talk to, then they come back in again when it comes to the politics of the netherworld and stuff, and so I don't remember the details in the end, but there is Infestix, which I'm not really sure if that's Anthraxus or Nerul, or if it's all jammed up into one. You can take your pick, I think, when it comes to that.
And that's a good thing. Now I know that in a lot of the From the Ashes, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. The Ayu's invasion, they're destroying all the priests of Nerul that are everywhere in the Horn Society, all over the place. They're talking about that a lot in there. That Nerul's the main one. You know, that's just Greyhawk to Greyhawk. A lot of people in publications have problems with putting those deities like Asmodeus or whatever for some reason in, you know, or whoever it is. They really they keep to the Greyhawk deities for some reason. So hey, Nagoya Joe. So lawful neutral humanoids, and yes, they go with hobgoblins are much more organized. So Juliana here was born to members of the Horn Society. Her mother was an evil fighter. Her father was an evil priest. This is a good story. Just how she's not a good, you know, she's conniving. You know, currently a 8th level cleric here, so you can make her a specialty priest if you're playing that way of a deity. It doesn't say specifically, but it has, you know, the story's pretty long. I mean, you got a lot of information here. You know, secretly she raged she was not in a position to crush everyone who would ever dare defend her. So you got to appreciate that in someone, you know. So and finally, after a battle against Shieldlanders, her patience was rewarded, searching among dead and wounded. She found a ring of human influence, which is a huge, powerful item. Talisman of pure evil, which is really nasty to kill, outright kill. Good. I never give those out anymore. They're really nasty. And she's very unpopular. It's a cool story. She's negotiating with some hobgoblins at the end, trying to get a +2 suited chainmail. So, yeah. Except for her ambition for revenge, Juliana is completely loyal to the ideals and goals of the Horn Society. Once again, I wish we could ask Jim Ward who wrote this, but we can't. So we can ask all the way, and we just don't know. So Bone March is a cool spot. Is Infestix actually in Cabulus? Maybe. Infestix sounds like one of the daemons, like the Oino daemon, or
exactly. That's where he is. Yep.
Yeah.
That's where you. Yep.
So you get a good story here. One named individual, whoever came up with this idea, cool. Wow, I got someone here, and I can use this. And this is in our Greyhawk adventures. Now, if we go to I know you talked about this, the box set. I don't think there was any. Was there any changes at all in the 83 box set?
Nope, it's the same as the folio.
It's identical.
Oh yeah, I think almost exactly. When you read it, and it's the same. So they didn't add anything. They didn't
it is.
Yep.
Wow, it's identical.
Yep.
And up top here is the same too, except the population says 45,000 with a question mark.
Yeah, exactly. That might have put it tiny
12,000 hobgoblins doesn't seem like enough either.
No, it's a couple of cities, so to speak. It's a couple of settlements.
How do people like the idea that we put the evil plastic figurines from the early 80s into the Horn Society? I think that was Eric's idea.
Well, there's room for them. It's big. It's a big place.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we get nothing out of the 83. Nothing. No bonuses here at all. So we skip that. So I guess we got to go next to the Fishing Rock box set.
Well, we have From the Ashes. I have to look that up and see.
Is before From the Ashes.
Yeah. Yep.
So if we go to this, I want to share this. You get something really cool in the Fishing box set. Are they nomadic? Yeah. I think it was Eric's idea to put Warduke and them in the Horn Society. I think so. I don't know about Kellic. I know it's Kellic Horn Society. That's the dragon chest guy, isn't it? That mage. I didn't know he was from there. And I think it's Khellek, isn't it? Yeah. That I wasn't sure. I'm not sure about Carrie, but I'll take your word for it. Okay, we got an adventure card piece. This is actually an FEC Girl box set in the adventure cards. Now I love these adventure cards. They're specific to Greyhawk scenarios, and this one's called To Slay a Hierarch. So if you want to have a little fun here, it's levels 12th level average. So you have a little, and the story. PCs are approached by a Knight of the Holy Shielding as learned through a spy in Molag that a powerful hierarch of the Horn Society will spend a night at a house outside Ad Munford shortly. That's brazen. This man is a renegade shieldlander, which makes me love him even more, and returns to his birthplace each year. His death would be a great blow against evil. Also, from a Rene, they learned that an organizer of this piracy, a powerful priest, will be at a house outside Ad Munford for a night shortly. Gives you and I some ideas here. Oh, thank you so very much, Rick Schultz. I mean, I'd love to have Rick back for some other discussions. Maybe we can get Malden to get him back here. So if we look at this, here's another name, Vazirian the Hierarch. 14th level priest. That's nasty. It doesn't say specifically. It says priest, so he's a specialty priest, but it does not say who's he's a priest of.
Vazirian is Asmodeus, according to other sources.
Is it? Let me
Yep.
see if it says it in here. I didn't see it.
No, I think it's coming in later.
Wow.
He's defined later on.
He's not a cleric.
Had a good post about them, and they've been listed on various Greyhawk wikis and stuff. He's listed as Asmodeus. I don't know exactly the source for it, but because I get too many hits when I, but I'll see if I can find something here.
So, This is a simple. I mean, it's 2 pages, right? Go find this guy, set up a scenario, and kill him. Kill a hierarch. This is once again is pre Iuzine invasion, pre From the Ashes. So you have some information here that you can take. And this we could ask who wrote these adventure cards up, if these were Rick and Sargent or Doug Niles. So that's funny. I'm sorry. So I love the last line in this too.
I got a source on that, and it's Dungeon 32, the adventure Ghost Dance.
Okay.
That's where it's from. That's where he apparently is supposed to be mentioned. That no, sorry, that was Kolkis, Vasirian. Hang on a second, if I can get a Vasirian.
As she's looking, when they get out of here, there's a note pinned to the front door. It reads, "Thank you."
It's apparently, yeah, it's Cydia box sets adventure card to slay a heraldry. That's the one you're reading from.
Yeah.
And here it says Asmodeus, but the source doesn't say Asmodeus. So then we are on shaking ground here. So
right. It does not say that, but he has a servant, Marler, who's also a priest, 9th. They're not clerics, so there's PR, especially priest in 2nd edition.
And Asmodeus or Deviltry is not mentioned anywhere.
No, not that I see.
Yep.
So that was probably someone making a surmising.
Yep.
Unless I missed it somewhere.
Yep.
I don't see it anywhere in here. Okay. The very last line. Thanks for slaying my rival. I'll tip you off next time I want a job done. Thanks again, a grateful hierarch. So you can have fun with this. You need to get David Howery and Andy Miller on the show. I'd love to get them on the show. That would be awesome. Venture card, kind of cool. Something you can use. Laser Dongface Melter. All right. Let's peruse the next thing as we go on our way to from the ashes, and that would be the box set itself inside the information here. And I'm going to go to the NPCs. We're going to go, I think I got to be in the second one. Oh, I went by it. All right. So, first off, here's your beautiful people. And this is where I got confused all those years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, here's Valdoresta, Sharn, and Artur Jakarta, both Knights of the Holy Shielding and both living in exile or whatever, because it's taking over. And I'm like, where does it say this happened, right? And I had no idea that this actually happened. This is 1989. They're referring back to a blip of what happened in that December of 81 article. And they advanced on it.
It's probably because From the Ashes was already under working, so they wanted to be more compatible with the future product that was already under development. So my guess is that timeline was already used internally at TSR, because it's only like a year. What is it? Year and a half before the From the Ashes comes out. So
I think it's
I'm pretty sure
they
already. Yes, I'm pretty sure that they already reading off that timeline before it was. Yeah.
But that is Iuzian's, not Horn Society. This is Horn Society.
Yeah, but
it's just strange.
What I'm saying is that they are kind of the Horn Society was halfway out of action already here, not in published stuff, but in stuff that was supposed to be published. That Cardsardian was probably already putting that timeline together, and they wanted to be compatible with products coming out in the future, not the old stuff.
Interesting.
That's my guess.
Well, here's a good thing. Let's take a look at this. This will be this one's not Sargent. This is Doug Niles. So, and they wrote these independently. So maybe Doug got his wires crossed.
Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But you're right. It's Gary. It's unclear. Exactly.
It might be that we got that convoluted story simply because they didn't check and synced with each other while writing it. So I guess maybe it was supposed to be one takeover, not two.
Actually, no. This is Sargent and Rick Rose. All right. Oh my gosh, that's me messing up. All right. So let me go down to here under low life, and go. Let's go to. We go. I think there is a 3-stage baddie in here who's Horn Society into the city here. More than we can get to.
There's several.
Yep. There's some Marithnal people in here. The shape changers now.
There's at least 2 that I have listed because we have known members. I have a list of the known members from all that, and there's a couple of them, at least one from this product, which I think is the one you're looking for.
Well, here's the Cult of the Shriven Sickle, and that's the Cult of the Shriven Sickle is our Nerol worshippers that are in league with the Horn Society. They slay knights of the Holy Shielding. That's what they're attempt to do, and there's a whole list of them right here in the Free City. High Priestess of Nerol, Xanthi Laman, 10th level. And you got
Xanthi Laman? That was a new one. I have to put down that one.
Yep.
Because we have Juliana Mortidus. I don't know which product, but she's supposed to live in Greyhawk City.
Yeah, that's a 3-stage character. I think I'm.
Okay.
No, Juliana is the one that we talked about in. She is in the Greyhawk Adventures book that we just talked about with that Jim Ward wrote earlier.
Yep. So what was the name of this one you found?
Xanthi Laman, Garin the Shroudender, Jamir Relstar, and Grotnik or Tenkis are the 4 that are noted in the Cult of the Shriven Sickle.
Okay, yep. Mortidus.
Oh, that's not right. That's so wrong there, Gary, but it's funny. It's funny. So those are 4 that are there.
Cool. That's cool. Then we have more than I found on Wiki and Wikis.
Right, because it doesn't say specifically Horn Society hierarchs. It says
no. It's just Nerol stuff. Yeah.
Cult of the Shriven Sickle.
So we have Juliana Mortidus and Andrade Mirus.
Yes, and let me go to the back
Nerolians.
here. Yeah, we're going to go to the 3-stage characters back here, which were cool. That's, I think Andrade's in back here, or maybe not. I thought he was one of those. Andrade Miris. Here he is. Okay.
Yep.
Evil Nemesis ×3. He has Andrade Miris, Patriarch of Nerol. So you can have him leading the Cult of the Shriven Sickle or doing other things, but they have a version of him at 11th level. Let me pull this up. They have a version of him at 11th. They have a version of him at 14th level. And these are 3-stage characters, basically. And they have a version of him at 18th level as he's going up in levels against you, which I found really cool that they did this. Yep. So a neat thing here. But yeah, that is another, you can say, is he become a hierarch? Maybe, but he's the head of the Cult of the Shriven Sickle during certain points. He's also the owner of the Pit, which is kind of cool.
I don't think they're hierarchs, but they might be members of Horn Society or agents of or something.
It is suggested that Andrade should now have become the Horn Society's most senior spy in Greyhawk. This is when he gets to 14th. And he may work with otherworldly denizens in a role. Okay.
There you go.
Yep. And then at 18th, let's see here. If it says if Andrade has been exiled or fled, he will be a senior hierarch in Molag. This is 18th, and will arrange for the PCs to be persecuted by a stream of enemies such as assassins, agents from the Bandit Kingdoms, in his pay.
There you go.
So yeah, it's neat. It's a neat thing. So we know we now have a couple named or possibly named hierarchs, 2 in the box set, 1 on a card, 1 here, 4 Cults of the Shriven Sickle members. So you got like 6 Horn Society people.
Excellent death benefits. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So what's neat about this is there is some information. There's not a lot, but there's some published source information. You also have Juliana in this book. So you have another one. So you have 7 all the way through to Hammer Time and From the Ashes. So do we even discuss what happens in From the Ashes? Because it's really like I snap my fingers, Anna, and it just all goes away, right? For the most part. That tends to be what what happens in the From the Ashes box set. And I don't have that in my subfolder. I got it in my standard one here. Let me go to where do I have this? Grab From the Ashes. Okay. Okay. So in the From the Ashes here, Sergeant is going to rip things apart completely. Rip it to shreds. And if we look at this, we're looking at I think it's 92. 92. So it's 3 years after the Free Cigarette box set comes out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And just there's stories in here how I use is like, tricking everyone. I don't like all the hierarchs get killed like almost overnight. It's kind of what's the word? It doesn't feel natural. But what are your thoughts?
I'm so sorry, on what does
On
it feel
the
natural?
society is wiping out all the hierarchs almost immediately.
No, I think it's just propaganda. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a different theory. Let's go to that one later. When we I think
Okay.
there's still a few more holes to plug before we go into wild speculation, so to speak.
So there's not a lot of detail in this on what happens. You really, if you want to go with detail, there's a good place for it. So let me wipe
Yeah,
this.
but the interesting thing in Horn Society when it comes to From the Ashes is interesting because now we get post-war updates. From the Ashes has all the stuff from the war and the IUCN takeover, and Althea is now the ruler of Horn Society and the whole
Is that
shebang.
in From the Ashes or in the Eyes of Evil?
No, it's From the Ashes. I'm reading From the Ashes right now.
All right,
Yeah,
what is it?
it's
The second
page
book?
27. It's the campaign or the Lance of the Flannies. I guess the first book. Page 27, 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's not. Is it the campaign book or it's the first one?
I think it's the first one, the one that had all the country information. That is basically the whole gazetteer. That's the same as the 83 box set. It's just an update to the 83 box set, but you have all the countries.
27.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Horn Society. All right. Let's see what it says.
So here we have the interesting. Here we have.
Thanks, Kelvin.
Now we have the Horn Society post IUCN takeover, so to speak.
So
it
says it says before the wars, the humanoids were content to work with humans and cause of evil. I wholly overthrew the hierarchs in the course of the wars, and the ease with which he slew them in the terrible Marku is a source of wonder to many sages.
Mm-hmm. But before then, in the paragraph before, we have something interesting. Towards the shield, priest of Hextor and Nero dominated the upper echelons and became the governing hierarchs.
Okay.
And it's in, we still have that kind of, they don't want to put down, Carl Sargent doesn't want to put down if he wrote this. I think he did, but I'm not sure. But anyway, whoever wrote it, they don't want to put down the foot on they don't want to give the hierarchs or Horn Society a firm identity or belong in a firm camp. They still want to have it a bit ambiguous, open. Are they devil worshippers? Are they whatever? It's more like they still leave the cards open, so to speak.
Gary says he was probably prohibited from using devils, the word devil and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. So they talk about diabolical and they talk about various gods' names. They seem to mix and match from almost every source, mix and match a little bit to what's kind of convenient for the moment, so to speak. So, yeah.
So I definitely refers to Maleg as a summer palace. So it doesn't really go into details to how this happens. Just that
it's just that it happened, so to speak. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that is From the Ashes. Now, if you want a lot of detail, we're going to go here to page 35 of Eyes the Evil, and we're going to go to the Horned Lands here, and there's a lot of information here.
This is the best write-up of the lands in any source whatsoever.
Okay, yeah, very cool.
We even got a Molag city map, which I think is kind of despicable, but that's another story. Yep.
So Once again, this is way more than 12,000 hobgoblins stated in the original
Oh
box
yes,
set.
it has grown significantly.
But notice, orcs are a minority here. There are even Norkers listed here, which is cool.
Yeah.
Gnolls, kobolds.
But it seems to be the hobgoblins, and
Yeah.
they seem to be the dominant ones here.
So it does. It talks about what it doesn't say once again how it happened, just that it did. You got he simply made up top here. Once again, it says when I used to oppose the hierarchs, he simply made their dissimulation of reality with the aid of Tenari, so that's devils, Pazriel. I was struck by magically transporting over 200 fiends and elite phalanxes from his legion of Black Death into the palaces of Molag. Okay.
Yeah, and now we have another convenient word coming that I kind of like, and that's kept into 5th edition, the word fiend. That could be any of the lower plane creatures.
Right, okay.
Which I think it's convenient to use, so to speak, and I kind of like that word.
So a lot of people believe that just the hierarchs have allied with the Ayus. In truth, it makes a little difference. So there you go. So depose one evil rulers for others, and then it talks about Althea is the nominal ruler, and it goes through all this. So you don't have to have this happen in your game, right? I mean, if you don't want it to, there's no reason, for it. But it sounds like Alden the Roll and Hextorian priests were all slaughtered. Just so there's only Ayu's priests here. It does say humans still exist, right? In here.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of human bandits that are troops in the armies of Ayus.
Oh, exactly, and some of Ayu's top henchmen are humans, so they're definitely
Yeah. Without the devil's, Hexter becomes the only lawful evil god that's usable. That's true. I don't know if any other, because really, what else are you gonna? That's a good point, because a lot of the other guys are neutral, like Encabulus and Erythanol, chaotic and neutral evil. Yeah,
and it's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point that we have to realize this is written in the Satanic Panic era, or at least as a reaction to the Satanic Panic. So we need to realize that there might be more. They subdued a lot of it and took away things just to please the times.
Yeah, and Arthon, the Gary Gygax version, once again, a lot of stuff deviates from what Gary's writing and what's written by Sargent at this point, but it's all good.
Yeah, and we also have 2 generations of Gord stuff. We have the first 2 Gord books that Gary wrote while he was still at TSR, published by TSR, and they are in there. And then he wrote the other books. The other, what is it, like 5, 6 books that came out afterwards, and they kind of go deep into various netherworlds and stuff, and then it kind of shifts, and the whole thing kind of takes off, and it's basically about killing off the whole setting in the end. So I think that you should not read them as gospel from and it's hard with Horn Society. I don't think you should read anything as gospel when it comes to them, so to speak. You need to take it as propaganda, rumors, ideas, and we don't know the whole picture kind of thing. So yeah.
So a lot of bandits, sounds like they fled into Felreave as well. They're allied with the hierarchs and are still there.
Yeah. And we have Nesmayan, the one of the hierarchs that hides out, looking for the Flan necropolis, and so on and so forth. There's
Now this is the first time I've seen this. I mean, first time this comes up. A magical wild card, Dwormerite. I can't even pronounce
Dwormerite or something. Yeah.
So small clusters of Dwornite gems, tear-shaped, semi-opaque. The gems have diverse magical powers. So gems with teleport dimension or extraplanar travel properties. So both both wish and longevity magics are found with such rare gems. Interesting. So these gems attract monsters, beholders. So this exists in the Horn Society. First time I've seen this. I mean, at this point in the timeline. So I guess Sergeant's like, I'm going to add something cool here.
Yeah,
having a cool resource.
yeah, and he adds a couple of other things too. He has the Free Reavers, the Janser lands, and estates of the Fiends.
Yep.
That is the Pasasu, or that aerial thingy, aerial demon thingy, and stuff. So yeah, Pasrel, yeah, that
Yep.
he didn't invent, but I think it was already in, or maybe it was invented for this
Now,
product. I'm not sure.
Pasriel's in Monster Manual 2.
Yeah, so he's been around in more places than one, so
Yeah.
to speak. So he's in various places. But Janser didn't make it anywhere except here. So he's
Okay.
only mentioned here and didn't take off. The Free Reavers the same way. They didn't take off and they're still going into it. But there's no explanation on who Janser is or was. Or
Well, it
what
just
he
says
became.
here he was slain by agents of Ayus early in the coup, was on the
Mhm.
fringe of promotion to membership in the hierarchs, and these lands were
Yeah.
steeped in wickedness and well served by priests of Nerol.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
we
it
don't-
says. So
exactly, we don't have much backstory on him or any of that. So he was one of these that popped up and then was taken out. Yep.
yeah, so it's cool. There's some good information here, and if we flip to from this, if we flipped here, you got the areas.
That's basically the stuff that is there from I Used Evil and a
Right.
few other sources.
Now my Free Reavers lands is expanded because
Yep,
you did that for me because I really
Yep.
love the Free Reavers. I use
Yep.
them separate outside of
I've
what's going on.
expanded them and retracted them as politics have gone back and forth. Yep.
So, but there's a lot of areas that are noted here. I mean, Molag is right. I mean, literally right on the border with Fort Belvoir and
Yep. They're
and-
just
and
about to
Ferrandi.
be expanded in my campaign. Right now, they're not, but I think it's so that's the public version. Your Horn Society is on the most part is the same as the public version of it. Let me share my campaign version. It's not completely up to date. This is one that is a little bit old. There's a couple of stuff that I haven't changed. My Free Reavers they have taken Rikstut, and it's a town next to the Ritensa
I'm
River.
gonna take
so
a
to speak.
chance here and
Okay. Yep.
I hope I don't crash the stream.
It shouldn't be. It's easy zoom is fairly easy on
Okay.
on the stuff, so it should be. So that's my take in my campaign on Horn Society. So I've divided up. It's much more. I've developed the Empire of Ayus and its provinces and stuff fairly
much
well,
more.
so to speak.
So the Free Leavers land's a lot smaller, which is cool, and then you have a lot. You
yeah.
have a lot more noted camps. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Rickfield Catlord, my campaign currently is in Shield Lands, but I usually switch every 5 to 10 years. Once I feel like now I've done this area, then I move over to another area for a long campaign. And a campaign can be a couple of years. It's been 10 years sometimes. So yep.
What's Rikstut?
Rikstut, that's a town. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, so it's simply demonic or diabolical or fiendish or abyssal or some infestation, so to speak, that actually changed the terrain. It changed the biology and wither things and stuff like that. So necrotic and stuff. So yep.
Why is the Horn Society gray? Just because the lands aren't?
It's me overemphasize things. When I go in and make them super detailed, I will probably not. I won't. And also when I did it, I wanted to overemphasize the character of the land, because you don't have enough real details. So then you just have to paint with the colors you have, so to speak, with the palette you have. So it's kind of a little bit different. Yeah.
His Rikstut is when the king farts.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Awesome.
Yep.
So Janser's lands is much more developed up here, I see too.
Yes, yeah, and I tried to make a backstory that he was one of the early pioneers up there that wanted to organize it, and basically during the Ayus was gone, the hierarchs hired him to be a society builder and to take some of the areas that were unclaimed by the humanoids and start developing them.
Oh.
And because they wanted more agriculture, and he also had a secret mission, and that was to fight against and keep an eye out for the Castle Dalvier and stuff up there too. So that was part of his secret mission, and to keep an eye on it, so to speak. So that was the story behind it, and so he founded Kindle, and then he had a town up there that's called Kellanet, and he built a series of keeps that was going to be kind of the northern border, like a fallback position for the Horn Society in case the humanoids up there became too unruly and stuff, because they were kind of far away from Molag and from their point of control, so to speak. So, and also they could have rovers of the barons and others coming raiding from the north. So they wanted a series of keeps that could keep an eye on intruders from the north. So that was his
where's Dalavers? Is that not on your map?
Oh, Dingavers. Is that what you mean?
No, the one where the one hierarch has fled to.
Oh, Nesmayan. Nesmayan is on Dazark. It's on east in the southern end of the Fell Reef. You're looking at it.
Okay.
Zoom in, and it's Dazark, because that's the Orcish settlement that was there. Was
There it is.
Dazark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
there
or
it is.
Dazark, or whatever you say.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah, because I go with the names of settlements and stuff, not names of modules. So if the town is mentioned, then it's the town's name and not module names.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's cool.
Yep. And so now, given the a lot of the humanoids have been given various names and stuff, so they have various have the broken sky hobgoblins, the Hagrak hobgoblins, the black sun, the throat cutters, the flayers, etc. So there's various. I have heraldry for some of them, but I'm going to put heraldry for all of them eventually, so to speak. Some it has in Kasgun, for instance. That's where you find the orcs up there, the Kasguns and the Ursun and stuff. Those are the orcs further north, but they are different provinces. And in Ayu's empire, Horn Society is it's one of the nations, so to speak, and Kasgun and Ursun are other nations in the empire.
Orcish nations,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yep. So we have some of the ones in so Horn Society in the western side. In the southern side, you had the Molag frontier. That's the territory run from Molag directly, so to speak, to keep an eye on Furyundi and then Shieldlands in the south. And then you have the Delavan lands and east. That's the deep shuttled Delve. Then you have in the west, you have the Principality of Veng. Some nasty guy simply bought a piece of land and say, oh, if I pay you a lot, can I rule here? And if they were vicious enough and are loyal enough, you can do that. So I haven't decided exactly the backstory of the guy, the Prince of Veng, but we have to come up with something fun. So the Delaquent. And then so I try to fill in detail without going against the backstory, so to speak. But now we come into speculation time, so to speak, because this is me speculating on what the detail on the ground is, towns and stuff. But let's speculate a bit on the who are the Horn Society, where do they come from, and who are running them, so to speak. And we have a couple of alternatives that have popped up over and over again and being blended and mishmashed. And one is the simple. They're just a bunch of opportunistic warlords, kind of high-level fighters, clerics, anti-paladins, whatever you want, so to speak, that simply saw that, ooh, Ayus disappeared, so we do a land grab and take this and rule it in the name of evil just because we think it's fun, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you just want to be simple, no big political connotations to any other planes, gods, or anything, then you can run them cleanly that way, so to speak. They're just an evil organization out they're banded together in order to raid and earn money, so to speak. And that's one way of dealing with them. Another way is to make them say, okay, they're devil worshippers. They don't like Ayus and look at others, and their loyalties are diabolical. They serve Asmodeus or Hextor or both, so to speak. They're loyalties are with the with the Hell. They serve the Lord of the Nine. That's another way of doing it. A third way is to say that, okay, they are Nero worshippers. They are neutral evil. They also tie in because Nero is a Flan god. You can kind of, this is the rabbit hole I went into. I said that I took one little sentence that is mentioned somewhere saying that, oh, they might be a remnant of old because there's old Flan stories of talked of the Horned Ones. And that's the story I went with. I said that the Horned Society is the modern version of the Horned Ones, and
Okay.
they are part of old Flan culture. And I realized this is a very, like 5-6 years ago, I started to realize, oh, this is dynamite. I want to go deeper with this. So I went into that rabbit hole. But I think you should kind of think, you could, as a DM, if you want to use, I use the Horn Society, the Horn Lands, or just this area, you should kind of make up your own mind. What type of villain do you want? Do you want? You can also say, IUs didn't wipe them out. They are still there and are the enemy, and they're still running Molag, so to speak. You have a lot of options here, and I think you should, as a DM, you should kind of pick the villain you like, so to speak, and run with it.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
and it depends on the size and scale of your game too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So
What type of enemy you want? Meaning,
yeah,
and also I think it's also can tie into, don't make it another Scarlet Brotherhood. If you have one sneaky
Please,
spy
yeah.
organization, whatever, you don't need another one. Or maybe you do, so you can have them fight each other. But it's so what I wanted to have, meaning IUs is in historic terms a fairly newbie. He hasn't been around forever, so to speak. He has a fairly recent history, a couple of 100 years at best. And then we have Ivid in and Rossi's and the Grey Kingdom that seems to have gone Hextor way and diabolical. So I was like, I wanted another villain. I wanted another nature of evil villain. And so I was, okay, what about some really old one? Not Thuriston, because I want to keep him in the
please,
back
yeah.
burner, and I don't want the end of the world evil here. But I want old, tainted, interesting villainy with the flip story, so to speak. That is not only villain. I wanted something that could fill a different niche, and it's not about exactly where you're loyal on the alignment scale. I wanted something that is ethnical, political dynamite, rather than just fill in one of the holes. So the old Flan connection was something that I was really interested in. And then a lot of things started to fall in place when I went with the story. So my take in it that is the dark side of the old faith.
Okay.
That was the Horned Ones. It was something that the Flan used as a last resort. I talked about it previous in the show, so this is not really new, but in this context of the Horn Society, in my campaign, they're really tied into the dark, to old faith. They are the dark side, the decadent decay side of the Horn Society. And to me, the interesting thing is that they seem to be connected to IUs. And I went with that they are connected, because IUs and Horn Society was actually, or IUs rather, he was created to be the hero of the Flan. That's in my campaign. That's what his job description was originally. And then he went haywire and started killing left and right. And that's after the war. That's when the Horn Society became the enemy of IUs. So when IUs came back, the Horn Society voluntarily stepped back, because now their hero is back. And then IUs take over and didn't follow the script. And that has changed things in my campaign. So yeah. So that is the fundamental backstory, that the Horn Society and the Horned Ones have a long story, long before the the invasion and stuff like that. This is part of several thousand year story that it slowly evolved, and then during the migration they got their current form, so to speak, and Ayus was something that was invented because Gerast was one of the lords that the horned ones used. Nerul, Incubulus, and were others, so to speak. So they were kind of a little bit of the glue of the evil Urflan cults. Zugtmoy was another one. And so they were, and Temple of Elemental Evil might have an older story that we're not aware of yet. And so I wanted to tie a lot of the old stuff together, in so to speak, and then Erdi and the immigration came and the migration came and the political thing shifted, and Horn Society became guardians of the old faith in a way, in the evil way of trying to guard them, not by maintaining good culture, but by simply crushing skulls, so to speak, to do it. So yeah. And to promote the old the bad gods of the Flan, and make sure that they were the organizers of the cults and stuff, and the one that backing them up.
Yeah, Baker just said there has to be a major gate then in Molag.
Yes, it's one of the it's one of the things. In Molag has an interesting story too. You can kind of develop it. We know that Ayus held it before the Hiriaks or the Horn Society took it. So when Ayus was imprisoned, they took it over. And to me, that's also a sign that they were there to cover for him while he was gone. But before Ayus, who held Molag then? And I have that Molag is one of the hill forts, the old Flan hill forts. They were like convenient hills that was spread out here and there in the Flan lands, and they cut them and they walled off the top of the hill, so to speak, and made it hard to invade. So they built they aided nature a bit in created defensive positions on top of hills. This is something that happened in ancient times all over the world. That you have in the Jews used it in Israel and against the Egyptians and others. That's and the Persians and stuff. You used it from all over Europe. There are old ancient hill forts. The Celts used it, and so on and so forth. There are many good examples, and some of them have been dug up and restored and stuff.
So the Raiders that just came in, we're delving deep into the Horn Society, which is part of the Greyhawk lore.
Yep.
So and it's
we're speculating now.
The great map maker Anna B. Myers with me. I'm J.K. Lord Gazumba. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out. We also have a great giveaway tonight, and that is our good friend William Henry Dvorak's brand new publication.
And we have some Norwegian friends here too.
Oh, we do? That's great.
Welcome. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep, that's awesome. Yep.
And then we got the Swedish. That's
yep,
awesome
exactly.
to see.
Yep.
Got some Norse here, and Anna is from Sweden.
Yep.
So,
I live in California now, but I'm born and raised Sweden, and my mother lives 5 miles from the Norwegian border, and so my Norwegian is not terrible. So yeah.
So it's good to see you all. And Ravens Rook, which is a city in the Free City Greyhawk, it's called Rook Roost. We can't, William Henry Dvorak cannot use that exact name. We're giving away 2 copies of this in PDF. It just came out from Kickstarter. It's an awesome publication. ! Drawing. Feel free to sign up for it. Thank you so very much for a wonderful read and some follows. Hang out.
And it's sorry.
Go for it, Anna.
I was going to say the interesting when you think about when you talk about Rook Roost and Bandit Kingdoms, in a way you can see the whole from 10 all the way. 10 was a part that was kind of stayed fairly on civil terms with the Great Kingdom. What they were the Flans that were civilized by the Great Kingdom, so to speak. But the Bandit Kingdoms, the Horn Lands or Horn Society and Ayus and the Rovers and stuff, those were the Flans and the lands that were like the Celts against the Roman Empire. They were the ones that were not succumbed, not conquered, and didn't become civilized in Erdi terms, so to speak. So I can see that culturally and ethnically and religiously and stuff, and in some ways politically, it was part of the same region in that sense that stood. And I think the defining feature is that they were not part of the Great Kingdom. They were outside of it for centuries. and it's yeah, Schnei Sweets Sweets. That's kind of funny. We need to talk about them in the future too, because they're kind of an interesting part
Thanks,
too.
Darren.
That's for a future show.
Yeah, what's good about this is, and with Greyhawk Mike, on his every other week off during Legends of Lore here, we really wanted to delve into Horn Society, because Aaron's done a lot with it. As far as, and here,
Yep.
for all you new here, here's Anna's great Greyhawk map. This is my version of the map that Anna customizes for me for Greyhawk. And we're talking, here's Greyhawk, and we're talking up here in this area is the Horn Society, which we're talking about tonight. So let me do something here.
Yep.
So from another published source thing, you got the Free Reavers are listed, but only 2 of them in the Eyes of the Evil supplement.
Yep.
You also have Nesmisian, the one hierarch that disappeared, that gets away. So you have 3 published source individuals in the book. You have Elder and Blood Splitter, a priest of Erethnol, the slaughterer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what have you done with the Free Reavers? Have
Well,
you developed them, given them
I've done a lot with
a job?
I've done,
awesome.
Yeah. Nesmisian, the hierarchs in here, and then my favorite of all time, one of my favorite NPCs published source of all time. You're gonna love this. I've talked about her multiple times. Sharon Vel Valinar, 14th level, chaotic evil. She loves carving Sharon smiles into people, and that's a throat cut from ear to ear. She hates everyone, including the priest of Ayus, and just has no fear of death because she has some carefully worded wishes. She's really nasty. So what have I done? In my campaign, we have the following. You have the Free Reavers lands here in the southeastern part of the Horn Society. Now, they are autonomous outside of the Ayusians who have taken over the Horn Society, because the Ayusians just don't want to mess with them. Like, why? There's no reason. But they raid into this area of the Shieldlands regularly. If you know my campaign, Warmark Castle and Kinsep Mansion are both run by the adventure group, the Legion, and they fight a lot with the Free Reavers crossing in and raiding. I've done multiple adventures with that. You may remember going back a couple of years, part of the Shieldlands little mini set scenarios I did recently, and so I use the Free Reavers. I have about 7 of them named beyond the 2. Some of them have dumb names, I'll give that to you, but it's fun. I love the Free Reavers. One of my favorite published source groups that Sergeant writes in the Eyes of the Evil supplement. So let's see what we got here. Why didn't the Horn Society supply use of all the fish he needed? That's just wrong, Gary. You all know it goes to Saltmarsh. There's an Ayusian merchant running around Saltmarsh.
Yep.
Look, you're making me cough. Franklin, you got it. Raven's Hook is an incredible book. Yes, it is. I'm taking the book's map from its good. So, and 2 more people are going to get it tonight who don't have it, which is great. And William did, Will Giant Stomp did a wonderful job with it, and we're going to see that giveaway tonight, and we'll be giving away more as we go on. That's what I've done, and I don't know if you've done anything with the Free Reavers yourself, but
I'm starting to have that. They are one of the things that I can put in my campaign. I haven't used them up until now. I haven't used them yet in my campaign, but I'm having that. They're standby. They're one of the villains I can throw into the turf if it gets boring, or if they roll real bad, because it's one of the secret factions the players have to roll to see if they get engaged or not. So it's one of the options that some of the villains can call them in. I have them as they are kind of free-minded mercenary for hire, so to speak. In some sense, they go out and rob and steal, and they're still useful for sometimes. So yeah.
The fish thing, the Saltmarsh thing that guys it's busting on that.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yep.
Someone really smashed me on an old YouTube port over from one of our shows, where I was talking about how I despise Ghost of Saltmarsh, not because of what they put together, but because there's no new content. Well, I guess a fishmonger from Ayus in Saltmarsh is new content on a small scale. So
yeah, which is kind of weird. What the heck is he doing down there?
Yeah, Ravensrook
far
is
from home.
self-published, by the way, Phantom. It's not by it's not by Frog. It's Will published it himself.
Mhm.
So yeah, and we got more stuff. Really cool. So how do you utilize your Horn Society and some recommendations
Now, in my campaign,
theoretically?
I've simply taken that they were the guardians, the kind of the nuclear weapons of the flan culture, so to speak. They were the ones that if they felt worried and threatened and stuff, they asked for help. They called in the horned ones. That's how they were initially and in old times. And then when I use being prison and stuff, they've have to organize themselves formally and hold territory more in a formal way in order to protect against the Erdi or Furundi and stuff coming in and taking the territory. So they became a bulwark against the civilized countries coming taking it. That was their role. And then when Ayus came back again, they could then blend back in the background again and become these kind of the kind of the secret force that could be on standby to protect Flan interests as needed, so to speak. And if Druidism and Old Faith were threatened, they could kind of call on the Horned Ones to come in and deal with the enemy. So they were a militia in a sense, so to speak, in really evil militia that could be called on. So not an organization that was kind of loosely organized, that was there to be used as needed, so to speak, when needed. And it was also a way for the Flan to take the worst elements of their population and give them a job that was important, so to speak, and a way of dealing with that too. So it was both an honor, and it could also be seen as an exclusion or instead of a prison sentence or something, especially when you're primitive. You don't have any, when you're semi-nomadic, you don't have any prisons or organized structures that way. The law was kind of informal and stuff. That's where I take that the Horn Society came from, the Horn Ones. And then they formalized themselves during those years. And then when Ayus came back, they went back to their old role. And then Ayus went off script. He realized he wanted to take things in his own name and not be a champion of common Flan interests. So then after he taken the exactly, Wandering Elders is, yeah, to some degree similar to the French Legion, yeah, to some degree. And then the so when he took 10 and crushed 10, that's when he went off script. And that's when the Horn Society realized that Ayus is not our hero, he's our enemy. And that changed a lot of things politically, because all of a sudden the Shieldlands and Horn Society were on the same side. That was not even conceivable for either side. And that meant that all of a sudden, secretly and slowly, the Horn Society has to start working on the other side of things. And it took 10, 12 years, something like that, for that politically thing to start having some impact. And now it's 15 years since Ayus invaded 10 and the Shield, the Horn Society and Ayus all of a sudden became enemies. So it took like 15 years since, but now that is starting to so they are now a secret evil force that are out there to retake their territory up there in secret, so to speak, and fighting against Ayus. Ayus hasn't really figured that out yet, and because they are kind of striking in secret and so on. And the Shieldlands are now realized that there is an evil force that we can at least talk to, because it's like in war, your enemy's enemy is your friend, but they don't trust each other, and they're still old mortal enemies, but they have the same enemy. So that has opened up a new interesting path for the Horn Society and a new role for them too. And that is one thing that changed the political scene. The other one is that the Great Kingdom fell apart, and all of a sudden alliances that was the Pale retaken, yes, Pale has retaken large part of 10. Yes, and Ayus had other parts. And the problem with 10 from Ayus' perspective is that it's on the fringe of his empire. He's been really interested in it and so on. But now all of a sudden, when Furundi and Shieldland started fighting against him again, then all of a sudden it becomes even more fringe. And so right now so you have the Ayus screwing up his relations with the Flan and the Great Kingdom falling apart. That has opened up now in West, especially in the Furiundi, Shieldland, Veluna, Elven, and like Vesvi, that area, all of a sudden an alliance between the Flan and Erdi is perfectly feasible now. It took 600 years to get there, but now all of a sudden there's new alliances because now all of a sudden Ayus is the enemy. And it's not a conflict between civilized Erdi and the civilized state versus barbarians in the north kind of thing. So politically, this whole region is in new alliances are being made, new friendship, new enemies and stuff. So it's kind of, it's slowly changing, so to speak. And that is part where my Shieldlands campaign comes in the middle of this, in trying to recapture the Shieldlands. And there are now both other enemies than you perceived, but there's also other friends out there. And Ayus has reacted to this, so he's starting to build. Oh, thank you, Gary. Yeah, so Ayus is starting to build a new capital in Hellorn, and you can go north on my campaign map there. There you have it. So I have heraldry for that one too. So he's building a new capital in the middle of his empire. That is, so we can keep an eye on things, so to speak. And Staser is left of it. He's starting to build a wall because he realized that once the Shieldlands, when they start building more alliances, getting more fighters and stuff, then that might be stronger, so to speak. And that's one of the few openings where you can just take a cavalry shock and just ride north. So he wants to stop that gap, so to speak. Those are some of the big politics. And this is the situation where we go into my game on Virtual Greyhawk on. That's the situation that is happening, and then it will be one little battle of that war, so to speak. That will be, yes. So we are tied into this, so to speak. So yeah.
But quickly here, let me do this while it's on my mind.
Yep.
Where's 2021? So you don't all miss this, and it'll be like the first time Anna's live streamed her game. You're talking about, of course, it didn't jump over there. There we go.
There we go. Yep.
11 a.m. EDT, which is 10 a.m. CDT, everyone. Sunday the 2nd, so a week from Sunday. She's with 2 general signups plus the regular players. Hawk Shieldlands will be live streamed. Rob Phantom will be raiding, and this is the 3rd day of GreyhawkCon coming up next weekend. So right.
So it's part of my ongoing campaign that been the 37th session, I think it will be, or something like that. Yep.
Yes, Alex. So another DM can kill you, because you've had enough of them killing you as it is. So it's wonderful.
Yep. So it's actually the character will be 5th level, and some of the characters that will be coming in with the guest players will have characters that will be 6th level, because we will have a cleric healer type that will be 6th level, so we can get a bit more support, so to speak, because they might need it, because the going might get tough, and we have a bunch of NPCs of fame that might show up, so to speak. We had a demon, one of Zuktmoy's major demons showing up the past session. Other NPCs of note that might be Katarina of the commander of the Knights of Holy Shielding will be there, and we will have Vakunis might be there, Wayne might be there, and a few others I don't want to mention. So might be there, so to speak. So yeah, so it might be an NPC hot, because the keep is a keep in Southern Shieldland called the Syrian Keep, and I will post the whole shebang. My patrons will get it in a few days, hopefully this weekend, the backstory of this keep. And it was a few little highlights. Is that the keep was one of the strong points for Hamaldar the Cruel. That was the guy with the
Good.
Yep, I'm doing a lot for this poor group. Yes, so Hamada the Cruel used this keep in order to that's when he had one of his last stands with his men, was in this keep when he was wiped out in the 450s, 460s, something like that. So it has a Vecna connection through Hamada the Cruel too.
Vecna lives.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Horn Society conquered it for decades, so they used it as a base. The old Flan used it back in the day, and then it was built by an heir-de lord of the Count Larden that built it, so to speak, and expanded on what was there. So and the caves nearby, it was a staging point when they were fighting against Keraptis and Dragotha back in the day. So this area has so much awesome lore tied into it. So I just built on top of it, so to speak.
Curtis is East Coast for a bit. Yeah. So hey,
Yep.
it's good to see you, dude. And good to see you too, Bones.
Yep.
So
So that was a little plug for
yeah.
Sunday, so to speak. So
But
that ties into the story. Yep.
if you have Anna's Patreon, this has been happening over there today.
Yep.
All right, what we got here? I got both of them. Here's the first one. So
yeah, I wanted to simply look at what if we did the Horn Society heraldry today using the latest tools, so to speak. What would kind of cool would it look like? So I experimented with the demon skull with horns and then with the crown and stuff. But I realized that this is kind of bone colored, and then I made a version that has red colored too, but I'm not sure which one looks best. Maybe that one looks a little bit angrier and stuff too. So and I also have an idea on the horned ones, what that comes from. And there's I took in my campaign, I took the idea that the the cattle of this area, the wildebeest, so to speak, of this area, the biggest herd animal is the aurochs. And it's was back in old Europe, after the last ice age, it was the biggest cow. It's actually the ancestor of the cows we are having, milk cows, the cattle we have today. So and it was like a beefier version of the Texas Longhorn, so to speak. It was a huge herbivore that lived in Eurasia back long time, up until I think 5,000 years ago, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, during the late Stone Age. That there have been attempts to get it back into, because they've taken various cattle and tried to rebreed it. I don't know if that haven't been really successful, but they have fossils and stuff from it. So he was a huge beast with horns, just like that. And so I thought I really liked that idea. So I said that, okay, that's where the inspiration comes from. The aurochs is that's where the horns come from, because it's the most powerful beast that the old Flan hunted here back in the day. They're still around here and there, but they're kind of been decimated through hunting and stuff over the centuries, so to speak. So it's not that many anymore, but it's still around. And that's one of the kind of the basis for the horned ones, so to speak, for the myth of the horned ones. And then you can take inspiration from minotaurs. That's another one you can kind of take inspiration from, and then you can create horned fiends of various kinds and so on, and tie it into the story.
I think that I like the white skull better, but maybe add a little dripping of blood in a couple places.
Yeah, I didn't have that much time to,
That's okay.
so I wanted to get it. But yeah, these are quick and dirty, and they are about 50% Mid-Journey and 50% me doodling in Photoshop. So the skull and some of the shape of the horns come from and the crown comes from Mid-Journey, and then I kind of adjusted it and took the lower jaw and put the little remnants of the teeth there and colored it and all that in Photoshop. So it's a little bit.
So Gary, Cernus, I have Cernus in my campaign. Cernus is in that Celtic article that we discussed Sunday night in Dragon 65. All right. So, and Gary's bringing this up real quick. Ancient Flan God. It's in the Celtic. It's perfect. I actually have him as one of my 4 specialty druids in the campaign, Gary.
Yeah.
They are neutral / evil for the most part. You know, they're really of that early Flan. I have them through the Vespi, a lot of them. You know, we have that Avenger class and stuff. So it's perfect to fit. It fits. You're dead on. Master of the Hunt. Exactly. And that's that article was fantastic, and that's one of the ones I discussed in that Sunday night discussion, because it that can fit as well. So
yep. And we also have Rob Kuntz made an
Druids.
adventure called the Dark Druids.
Yeah.
That doesn't mention it. It has a write-up on Thoristun, but it doesn't mention the Horn Society or any of that stuff, so to speak. So, but you can take inspiration from that and put that in Horn Society somewhere, definitely. Yeah.
I was thinking of running Dark Druids in the Gnarly itself and having a sect gone awry. That's what I was thinking about.
Because it basically a sect of druids that hate life and forest and want to kill things. That seems to be my understanding of the dark druids. I have it here somewhere. So that's not really my take on it, because I have them more as cult guardians of the population and the culture and stuff. So they are that's my kind of I wanted to kind of remove them one step from nature itself. They still have a connection to decay and stuff. That's where Sugdmoy, Jubilex, and a bunch of others coming in that they can use. And I don't take them as serving one or demon lord or devil or something individually. They are pantheon, so to speak. They use whatever they want. If they want lust, Gerast is one of them. And if they want death, then you have Nero, Undeath, Orcus, and Zuktmoy for decay, and Jubilex and stuff. So they were all and Earthnil and stuff for spreading disease and stuff. They were all part of the arsenal they used, so to speak. And then there were various cults that maybe specialized and served only one of them and stuff. But we have it's like a religious development over a few thousand years, or several thousand years. So
it's cool to link in the Serenus, which is from Celtic mythology, into the Flan, into possibly for the Horn Society. It's a good. There's nothing wrong with going that direction at all. But
if you want to go the devil direction, you can definitely do that too.
Absolutely.
Because there's equal support for that in the sources. So I just went with the old Flan connection, so to speak, and Nerul and others, and Urflan and stuff. That was the rabbit hole I went into in my campaign. But you can go into the devil tree and hex story and stuff like that, and develop the story that way. That's the cool thing with Greyhawk. There is
room for your own
exactly.
stories.
There's room for maneuver. Yep. Yep.
And those stories can be very important. Can really have them go whatever direction you want. Like, for example, for me, I'm not big on using the Horn Society, but I'm big on using the Free Reavers on it. Just because I kind of, I think a lot of you may feel this way. You get to a point, got to Carl Sargent's From the Ashes, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to incorporate all this? I've been playing since 1980. This comes out in 92, and it fucks everything up. It does. It screws up a lot of what's going on in my campaign.
Yeah, and it did it for me too. And I wanted to make lemonades out of lemons, so to speak. So that was my take, and that's where it started. And I was like, I exactly had the same feeling. What the hell am I supposed to do now to save this?
So I delayed its implementation almost to, I'm going to say, till 99, 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I got to go for the right time, and then worked it in. And I kind of missed the Horn Society because even though I didn't utilize them that much, but they were always there. The hierarchs were always there. The Cult of the Shriven Sickle was always there in Greyhawk City, which I loved. So I don't know. I may just have it like, think about this. We had this miraculous Crook of Ral get rid of all the fiends. Doesn't say it gets rid of all devil worshiper stuff and all. So maybe.
Well, it doesn't get rid of the worshippers. Only the summoned.
Right, but it says fiends. Does that mean just demons?
No, it means all of the lower planes. I think that's the term covers everything from devils to demons. Yeah. That's my understanding of it, but I might be wrong. Yeah.
Mattias, yes and no. I mean, because it's like everything is nebulous in there. There's not a lot of detail, and that's okay. That's funny, Glass Jaws. I think it can only get rid of fiends called in during the Greyhawk Wars, which is another thing. So what I'm saying is the power base of the Horn Society may have a chance to come back after the Crook of Ral is used. And plus the Hobgoblins don't really like the Orcs and the Orogs of Ayus at all. So another thing there that and they probably want their status quo back. So there's some options. Some
And
options there.
another dimension that I think is down that you can play up bigger than it is played in the sword. That's the humanoids.
Yeah.
You can play the orc tribes, the hobgoblins, the goblins, and the other ones. I tried to do that on my campaign map, and in my campaign, I've given them names,
Yeah,
home
you did.
places,
Real
and stuff, and
detail.
even nations and stuff. So I've been, and there you have another one, Castle Dalvier, a lich of some sort, and I've given him heraldry and stuff. It hasn't made it onto the map yet, but because I haven't made the simple version of it. So I really try to develop the political, make the Iusian Empire a true empire with nations and provinces and various political entities, either collaborating, at being adversarial, and have different niches and stuff to give characters to it. And most of it I haven't used directly in my campaign. It's just there in the background, so to speak, so I can use it for meaning there will be some of the characters that will come in and play on Sunday, next Sunday. They will come from various areas, and I've invented sub-provinces like baronies and stuff like that. And none of them will be from Horn Society or Iusian Empire, but not directly, but I try to give more backstory to things, so to speak.
So, Anna, long term, what do you see happening with your Horn Society?
My Horn Society will probably go east.
Oh,
in some sense, yes, because Ius has a fair grip on the area in that area that used to be classic Horn Society. It will be up to the loyalty of which humanoid tribes will stay loyal with Ius or not, so to speak. That will be the big question to me, will be that Ius needs to have support. He needs henchmen, so to speak. And as long as he can keep a firm grip on the humanoids in what used to be in the Hornlands, so to speak. That's why I called that was the term that was invented from the Ashes, I think, and in Ius the Evil, that the lands themselves are called the Hornlands. And so the Hornlands, the inhabitants, so to speak, as long as Ius can keep the various humanoid tribes there on his side, then Horn Society needs to either stay under the radar or go somewhere else and establish themselves. And in that case, I think that the Bandit Kingdoms and Forma 10 is an area of interest, because I think that in the Bandit Kingdoms there is a lot of kind of pent up aggression against Ius. And so there's a recruitment ground, so to speak, and also that is far away from Ius power centers, so to speak. So that is a possibility that some of the Bandit Kingdom provinces or various warlords and stuff there could need some religious, military, monstrous backup, so to speak. And they might simply shift allegiance and say, well, we don't like these Iusian clerics, so we kill them off and bring in the other guys and try them out for a bit, so to speak. So that's one clear possibility. But there's also a possibility that some of the humanoid tribes in the Hornlands say that, well, now we've had Ius for 20 years and we don't like him much. Let's bring in the old bunch again, so to speak, if they're knocking on the door to come back again. So it's definitely not unheard of. And the interesting thing is that the Horn Society guys might actually get a backing from both the Furuundi and the Shieldlanders and others, and even the Bandit Kingdom lords might actually secretly back the Horn Society to go back and fight with Ius, so they don't have to. So there are, meaning war can give you interesting bedfellows, so to speak. So
sure.
So it's kind of there are some wild cards in this, and so it's still an open question. I don't know which way it will go, but those are two obvious ways it can go, so to speak.
There's no right or wrong way at this point.
Yep.
We're not going to get any publication news sources that are going to make any changes. So that's the great thing. You're on your own, and do it's your Greyhawk and make it your own, and that's the great. And Anna has done that, definitely.
Yep.
I've done a lot lesser extent, but mine's more Shieldlands based. some free reavers, but I've kind of left the Horn Society as is.
And your shield land is still run by the Order of the Shield. It's not invaded by IUs or
Oh,
Horn
it is
Society.
invaded by IUs, but
Okay, it is. Okay.
So if you go from this on this map here, this area here, this here, up, and remember they have this little jutment out here, Walrus Crossing, Homer's Hole, down.
Yeah. We
and
need to update
back.
the borders and stuff on the map. Then,
Yeah,
you
so
get to-
it's kind of like a middle finger of control in there. A lot of areas are not, but and I also have a lot of, in mind, I have a lot of Theocracy of the Pale, because there's all this open land. They've come in, like Radiant Fork.
Yep.
Radiant Fork is a town that is taken over. It used to be called East Fork. They renamed it. You know, and so those are some of the things that we've done in the area here. But once again, there's no right or wrong way. That's why I bring them in, because no one loves the Fultians.
Exactly. They're
perfect. They're a perfect third villain.
Yep.
So, you know, and then you got the free reavers themselves, and they're just more of an annoyance, but they're very deadly. And I love the free reavers, one of my favorites.
I'm starting to like them too. So one way or the other, they will make it into my campaign eventually, I'm sure. Maybe if not this one, at least the next one. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. So any questions from the audience here on what Anna has done?
Yeah.
Professor, that's funny. Glass that you pulled all of the Pale into Ravenloft. That's perfect.
Yeah, we've gone speculating on the last bit here, so to speak. But we waited with that until the end. So we started more sane and more talking about the stuff that we have in published sources, and then went off the Rookers and opened the lid into our own campaigns and stuff. So yeah.
Which in this case, with all the, you know, talking only about mostly one region, you're going to get that in those kind of discussions.
Oh yeah, but it's a good region if you look at it geographically and stuff. It is a good region for many things, because you have pure good ones, and you have real baddies, and you can have a lot of if you want fantasy fighting, like big battles, cavalry charges, and knights in shining armor, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. It is a cool area, and it's also an area with a lot of lore tied to it, and a lot more than a lot of other areas, so to speak. There's plenty of old stories and little tidbits of stuff to dig into. So it's a great area of that you can do a lot with.
Blackheart, I don't know about that. The Pomars, it's way out of the way. If you're big on the Slavers book, you got the Kalen Lekos people. You got the Scarlet Brotherhood on the coast. I don't know.
It will be logistics difficult, because they have to ship a lot of their resources and stuff down. So that's why I stay in the area they can walk and ride to, so to speak.
And they're established.
Yeah, and also I want them to have areas where they have old Flan influence for long, so to speak. So
true.
That they have politically my campaign, and Pomarsh is different. It doesn't have that old backstory in the same way, so to speak. So it's kind of, but it's definitely not impossible. If you want to go that way, you can, but then you have to get them boats or something, or they have to sneak past the whole several countries. But it's not impossible. But to me, I want to take the more. I don't want to go across the river for water, so to speak.
So it looks like, yeah, you're right, Les. You do have one there, which is cool, and it'll get filled. If anyone looking for a fun, low stakes game where your character's 100% not doing anything effective with disease, yeah. There's one opening, Les's game that opened up. So I'm in Greyhawk Con right now. There's still 2 openings. I'll go over this real quick. There's still 2 openings for bipolar dice rollers. So this Citadel by the Sea has 1 opening. That's Jay Hafner's, I believe. The King's Castle has 3. DCC, is this maybe Matt's, right? This you, Matt? Yep, Matt Robertson, who's on Great Babe, has 1 opening there. Okay. Hey, it's good. We're really getting... This is by far the best we had over the 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Really good. So Les's game's got 1. All right. Second Citadel by Sea is 2. BK Tourney. Casey's BK Tourneys need some love. Orcs near Harby has 2 openings. Old Depths has 4. That was a late game put in. Shallow the Apple has 3. Second BK Tourney has 2. This is an actual. The Shadows of a Green Sky is Rob Phantom's game for Sunday morning. It's got 2 open seats. That's live streamed. Old Depths 3. Ravages of the Mind. Wow, someone must have dropped on that one, I think. Wow, that's got an opening as well. Interesting. So we may have some drops here, and then both of the Zeef games still have a ton of openings too. But hey, fantastic! Thank you, community. Good to see that the system is working. If there are drops, people can get it filled. If you're DM, please start contacting your players now. Get them their pre-gens at the latest this weekend. All right, start getting that done so that people are ready to go for next weekend, and you're not, rushing around. I have to do it too. I have a whole bunch I got to get out for the joust, so just note that. It's awesome. So, all righty. Any last calls here on any questions on the Horn Society discussion? Gary says, I don't see the hobgoblins being too happy about IUs. I agree, as orcs throwing their weight around, but they're also smart enough not to let that show.
Yep. I agree, Gary. That's why I want to dig in, and it will be up to what the players' role and stuff will look at it. But it's one of these possibilities. So we'll see, and it depends on how much IUs will go after the Horn Society and to the Horn Society. So
I think you froze, Anna.
Yeah, we have some issues here a little bit, so we'll see here.
It's not. I'm looking here. It looks like the stream is still going.
Yeah, now you're back again.
Okay, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was Zoom actually.
Yeah, we got some.
I have no drop frames on streaming either, so it says internet connection's unstable. So we have an issue. We may lose. If we lose you all, sorry about that. We'll come back on shortly if we do. It's still going.
Okay,
That's good to hear.
Yep.
All right, because I have no drop frames. That's bizarre.
Yeah, we lost video connection on Zoom, so yeah.
Okay, I'm going to shut some things off. Maybe that'll help. I got too much shit open. I is not happy with this discussion.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully, I know we're stopped. Yeah, we normally go to 9:45, but we're going to. Good. It's good to hear. We're going to do some shout outs and all, and talk about some things. First things first.
Yep.
Let me see if I still have it up here. Let me do that.
Thank you, Sean Holland. Thank you. Yep.
It's going to link to that. I knew that was going to happen. I hate that. Hold on. I gotta bring something else up.
Yep, Curtis, he's watching. Yep.
Curtis is watching.
No, the old one is watching.
Oh, okay.
IUs is watching the stream. Yep.
So one last time. Here is, if you don't have it, you weren't in the Kickstarter. Here's a great opportunity to get a copy of Raven's Rook. 107 pages of greatness. 117 of some wonderful information that William Henry Dvorak has put together from his campaign, and a lot of this is new
my
content.
Post-con reading. Yep.
Yeah, new content for something existing in Greyhawk. Now, of course, Greyhawk. All the Greyhawk terms are stripped from it, but there's great stuff in here. So enjoy it. We're going to be giving away 2 of these tonight in PDF. And there's actually got some mat work done of it, which is cool. And NPCs, a lot of neat stuff in this publication. So hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, a lot of people did get it, and just have fun with this and definitely enjoy it. So let me go back. So Anna, what's going on?
Let's see. On Friday there will be a mapping live stream. I'm not really sure what I will work on. I probably just want to break from all the stuff I have been working on, so I might just sit and doodle on more shield lens area, or might do Altamira stuff. We'll see, because I don't want to do things and show it away stuff for the convention. So I will keep that map more under wraps, not when I'm or those maps. So I'll work on that. Linda will be there, and we might have a guest, another guest too. We're working on that. We'll see. Yep, that might come in, and one that is well known in the Greyhawk community. Very well.
That's great.
Yep.
Very cool.
We'll see.
And that's 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
8 o'clock Eastern this Friday.
Yep.
All right, cool.
And then I will be, they will be dropping things like the backstory for the Syrian Keep. There will be my players will that will play on the new invited guest players for the convention game. I'm putting their characters pre-gens together, so they will get them later this week. We will have a session 0 on Sunday where we will discuss things, and so they will get and we test out the technical stuff so it works for them too. So yeah. So that is basically coming in. Next week will probably be radar silence on the most part, because I need to start working on all the stuff that I want to talk on my seminar and stuff too. So I want the game to be ready first, and then I'll put together some stuff for the seminar and things too. So yep. And the problem, I'm here spilling all the beans before the seminar, which is kind of, that's my problem. Yep.
But that's okay.
Yep.
All right, so let me tell you what's going on this week. Baker, I'm almost positive you're in. So tomorrow night, we got Adventure 972 Shock Troops. If you may have seen, I put out some pics back to the ruins, and it's in like semi ruins, because we got this great piece of Strandkeep Castle. So we're heading out, and we're heading right on the map. There it is, Strandkeep Castle. Not far from the border, with all the Order of Ulick outposts and the Watchers Towers, and Strandkeep Castle has been last time there was a small garrison of Order of Ulick troops that rotated in, a lot of dwarves. Well, they got kind of taken care of. Got some really nice, pics of what's going on. Yes, Bill's done up a lot of new miniatures for this, and so just some scenes that I rigged up of a fight going on inside and outside Strandkeep. None of that's real, but I like staging things. So that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, the Virtual Greyhawk 3 Prelude show. Excuse me. This is going to be, we're going to have a lot of guests. A lot of confirmations on highlighted streamers have come. Greyhawk Reborn. I know Steven Chenault's hopping in. So we will have, and everyone's going to talk about what they're doing. We'll talk about some of the seminars. We'll go over a gamut of what is going to be going on during Virtual Greyhawk 3, and that will be Sunday night's Gavin show. It'll be a fun discussion. We'll have people rolling in and out over the 2+ hour period like we have every year. Excuse me. So look for that. Starting next week, I'll start highlighting all the stuff I'm doing during Virtual Greyhawk. That'll after this week. The Grand Joust and everything like that, and the multiple seminars. I'm actually in the Seminar and Troller Games channel Saturday afternoon. Got a lot going on. And then we have on October 15th, we have the Slav Squad back Saturday night, October 15th. Also, Saturday morning, October 8th, 10 a.m. EDT. Was it Onwall? The Onwall crew from the UK, Creighton Broadhurst, and the group will be on a bonus Legends and Lore. That's Saturday, October 8th. That'll be coming as well. So, and it'll be in addition to, Celtic. I will get with you on your character choices as well. I got to get that to you. You go in order of the signups. I think Tino's first, Monkey Boogers. So I think the Black Knight's going to be an open one to choose this year. So yeah, it'll be a possibility. Excuse me. Yep, going to be a fun time. All right, last call. Get in. Get in your drawings. We will also raid into a very small streamer. He's an old school guy. He's doing 5e right now, DM Jeremy. I think we're going to raid into him just because I don't think I ever have, and tonight. So I think we'll do that. So, alrighty. So 2 winners tonight for this Ravens Rook. I need your email address, please. Either put it to me in Whisper Chat or put it to me in Discord when you win, because I need to get that to Will. William Henry Dvorak, who will in turn send you the PDF so you're registered. Okay? Yeah, it's lingering a little bit. It's just it's like having a bad chest cold. But I appreciate some. Thank you. All right, I'm going to close this out. And thanks for a great discussion tonight. That was fun.
Yeah. Hope we got a little bit of whet the appetite a bit more on Horde Society.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go. Celtic Boar. There you go. You're
Oh.
just chatting. There, you're winner number 1.
Yep.
Laser Dong Face Melter, winner number 2. Now, I bet you though, Laser's not on.
That's a new one. I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
seen that.
he's a sub of like almost 3 years. But he hops on usually on Thursday nights. He hopped on tonight. He's not on.
Yep.
So I'm going to pull another one.
Thank you, Uncle Fuss. Yep.
Another winner. Alex Antiquitous. Congrats.
Cool.
All right. So Alex and Celtic, you're both winners. You're both on the claim. We're going to give out more of these, everyone. So don't worry. Don't fret. Okay. But I have ways to contact both of you. But just make sure you put in Discord, both of you, to me, your email addresses so I can forward them to Will, who will get you these, get you the PDF. Okay. So look at that. How often do we finish before 10? Eastern?
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah, we ran out of topic. No, we could have continued, but I think it was good too.
It's good because I got another long drive tomorrow. I got to go to Southern Delaware tomorrow. That's good for my game. Yep. So let me go back to the main screen. All right, sit tight, everyone. Let's get a monster raid into DM Jeremy. I think he's got 11 people on. If we multiply that by like 9 times, that would be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for hanging in there tonight and participating.
Yeah,
I'll see you tomorrow night at 7:30. We'll have a real fun game with at least 30. Oh, I shouldn't say this. 30 brand new miniatures out on the table.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Bill's done a lot. Yeah, these Orogs, absolutely. It's really cool. Done a really nice job with stuff there. Thank you so very much. So, all right, that's cool, Alex and Celtic. So we'll see you all tomorrow night, 7:30. Everyone have a good night. Talk to you soon. Hit this button, Jay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's see.
You haven't rated yet, so yeah.
No, I haven't, because he's not auto showing up on the list because of. There we go. Sickest Adventures, Hal the Carrion King in 5e.
Okay.
That's cool. Oh, look at this. 90, 93, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thank you.
94, 95. That's a great
That's
rate.
awesome.
Yep. Because it was only you and me. We didn't have any fancy guests right now.
Yep.
So. Yep.
Yeah.